Alrighty. This hand seems reasonable. We are on the draw, so Mana Leak gets a lot worse on the draw, but hopefully our opponent doesn't play Goblin Guy turn 1, which is Search for Tomorrow. Okay, our hand is actually good against Scapeshift, although the matchup is pretty terrible for us. And we drew Supreme Verdict, which is the blankest of blank cards. Let's leave up Mana Leak. Unfortunately, we can't Mana Leak the Search for Tomorrow, otherwise I probably would. Okay, through the breach. Looks like just green-red Scapeshift. Let's take the 2, since we really need to get stuff going before our opponent reaches critical mass. Not really any point in picking off the Elder. Actually, maybe should have played Scalding Tarn in case he sacked the Elder and played another land in Scapeshift. We were able to just tech edge anyway, so that's not a threat. Obstinate Baloth. Guess we're letting that resolve. I think we're gonna wait another turn before we Verdict, since then we'll have Mana Leak or Tectonic Edge up. We don't really want to Verdict and then get through the breach or Scapeshifted. Alright, Courser, great. Hopefully he doesn't hit a land. Perfect. Alright. I probably should have electrolyzed that in response. I wasn't thinking of the interaction with Courser, but he doesn't hit, fortunately. Go ahead and Verdict. So he has Emrakul in hand. Scapeshift on 6 lands. I think I'm actually okay with that. And then he's gonna get some Valakuts. Could always just mana leak it. So we'll have, say, 2 Valakuts and 4 mountains. I think I'm gonna let this resolve. I think I'd rather mana leak the Farseek and just try and keep him off too many lands, since this isn't actually gaining him lands. It is thinning his deck though, I guess. Okay, he does get a black source. Not sure what that means. And actually just gonna wait on the tech edge, since it fuels the revelation. And take 2, planning to revelate if he doesn't do anything threatening. So we could through the breach in a Primeval Titan and then we're dead. But his 2 cards would have to be through the breach in Primeval Titan, so I'm okay with that risk. We know he has Emrakul, so okay. This gets Courser and potentially Prismatic Omen, so it's probably worth it. Do we want Relic? What does Relic do? It just cycles. It actually probably hurts more than it helps, but it does draw a card. Having ways to deal with Obstinate Bailoff are important. I think I'm fine with this configuration. We do have a lot of counters, so might just be able to run him out of resources. Make sure he doesn't sneak anything through the breach. Let's try this out. Crucible is potentially the best card in this matchup if we hit a Tectonic Edge and we have Remand, so I'm going to keep it. Search for Demona Suspended, and another Remand drawn. Good draw. And I'll just play Plains. I think I'm gonna not Remand this since he could resolve Courser, which is pretty bad for us. I mean, he could have Summon and Trap as well, but I mean, I gotta counter it. There's an answer to Courser. Might want to just resolve Crucible here. It does leave us open to through the breach, so I guess it's not really worth it. Prime time. So if we Ajani locked down a land and he threw the breaches, we're pretty screwed. Might be worth the risk though. I think it is. He needs an untapped land and a through the breach. So I think we gotta go for it. And I'll just get a mountain. Huh. Gonna sack now. Interesting. I think I'm gonna go for it anyways. It's too tempting. Untap land through the breach into something good though is pretty much game, but I think we have to take some risks. Since there's never going to be the optimal opportunity. Okay, Boil is not the worst since we have Crucible. And this time we have Path up at the very least for a prime time. Emrakul through the breaches still does a number on us though. If we survive this turn though, we're in a great spot. And he didn't have the land last turn, so. Okay, that's a Tectonic Edge. is basically game at this point. We have active Ajani and Tech Edge every turn, plus Remand, and a path for anything that slips through. I think we got a little lucky to not get blown out by the boil, to not have through the breach into something big happen to us. Like, this was a scary matchup, but we had two good cards for it and all the right answers. It basically played out perfectly for us. Go ahead and electrolyze. And yeah, that's that. Yeah, Crucible Tectonic Edge is one of the key factors for beating Scapeshift decks, and it's always nice to draw against them.